so much of Trump's ability to do what he's going to do is going to be a function of two or three things. One, the pliability of the 270, 80 judges and justices that he put on the courts 4 years ago. The willingness of the Senate and the House to capitulate to what he wants. Now, remember, there's only going to be like a 2-person majority in the House, and there are 2 of those people who voted for impeachment. Who knows where they are today in terms of these things? And of course, everybody he's appointing all around him are there specifically because they are people who will say yes to him and never say no. And you really don't need that much of talent at those jobs if you want to bring the wrecking crew in. So this stuff is going to be important. And how do you maintain discipline for a House member? It's not that hard because, you don't have that much resources. Maintaining discipline for Senate members are trickier. And we know Elon Musk has already been out there saying, like, if you don't approve all and rubber stamp all of Trump's appointees, I'm going to marshal the forces to primary you because he's got the money. Here is No Labels, their
No Labels
name of an organization.
How are they still around? Weren't they supposed to field a presidential candidate this time around and nothing came of that? Well,
and thank goodness. But their buddy Joe Manchin was in, sitting with Trump and Vance right after he had sunk the ability of Joe Biden to appoint and control the National Labor Relations Board until 26. But here is, at No Labels, Lisa Murkowski, and addressing the idea of why won't any of your fellow senators laugh a guy who has been credibly accused of sexual abuse, of being so drunk that he can't even function at functions for that matter, and a guy who has no particular experience in running the world's largest, essentially, institution on a dollar amount in the world. Never mind, the anti-vaxxers, the et cetera, et cetera. Here's Murkowski.
I think it's going to be hard in these next 4 years because you have an administration coming in that has had an opportunity to kind of see how things work, what didn't work, and now we've had 4 years to think about it, and the approach is going to be everybody toe the line. Everybody line up. We got you here, and if you want to survive, you better be good. Don't get on Santa's naughty list here because we will primary you. I mean, we are seeing that play out in real time right now with the nominees. The nominees who have just been named. There's been no committee process on any of them. They're just kind of doing their courtesy calls right now. And my friend Joni Ernst, who is probably one of the more conservative, principled Republican leaders in the Senate right now, is being hung out to dry for not being good enough. And you're going to.
Yeah, except for, this is where Sam gets to take a little victory lap. Ernst caved, or I would say folded very quickly. And basically, because she's a survivor of sexual assault, and she's running in 2026. So she's up for re-election in 2026. She said, maybe I'm walking back my disapproval of Hegseth as a sexual assault survivor.
The irony of this conversation is that she's not mentioning the billionaire Elon Musk who would finance these things. Mm-hmm. And which makes it virtually impossible for any of these Republican senators to get any, maintain any, even pretend that they have independence. It is usually what you'll see these senators do is pretend that they have independence or pretend that they have a contrarian view, and then, reasonably get there. What we're going to be in, they're all going to be in the mode within, I think, several weeks of running over each other to be seen as conforming with the president's wishes. And what's really interesting about this, too, it strikes me, is that there is probably no single organization, political organization, I wouldn't know if I would call them a party, but something like that, that is more associated with a higher concentration of its like constituents being billionaires or multimillionaires. Like the dynamic that she's not mentioning is that there is such an enormous amount of money being controlled by certain individuals that just with a switch, that money can flow literally overnight. There's no fundraising that's going on. There's none of that. Elon Musk will just dump, $40 million into any one of these races and completely like capsize anything. And she will not bring that up because everybody who is invested or involved, it's really the same thing, in no labels is just Elon Musk with a little bit less money.
It opens up a whole can of worms for them because Republicans are always kowtowing to the interests of capital, of the donors that are funding their campaigns. But it's a little more crude in this instance because Elon Musk is basically just acting as a mob enforcer for Donald Trump in the form of, instead of, punching people out or beating them up, it's about money. We'll take you out. We will take you out of your seat if you don't abide by his wishes. And it's less associated with like a specific industry group. It's more of like bend the knee to the monarch, to daddy. And, Elon Musk thinks that he'll be able to be the number one power player and even the shadow president in this administration. There was just a story about Tesla, I guess, in Reuters, that Trump is looking to scrap car crash reporting rules for that has been hindering Tesla because their cars are crashing all over the place and killing people.
And I just want to make one more point on this. Both parties are beholden to money.
Yeah.
But what's playing out in the Republican Party now, which is slightly different, and this is a problem we have society-wide, is that there is such massive concentration of wealth that you don't even have competing interests amongst the money. The money is always going to dictate our politics as it's structured right now, for the most part. Not always, but for the most part. But on the Republican side, it's not even just money. It is a person, literally a person, like you say, who is just Trump's enforcer. Now, of course, he gets his beak wet, too. It goes both ways. But it is, we're going from, an oligarchy to just like a full-on monarchy. And this is just Trump's little duke who has the army. And that's what's going on here. And pay attention to this because at one point, these senators are going to stop even pretending that they're going to issue some type of independence. Honestly, the only person I think who's in trouble is Tulsi Gabbard because she's, had a couple actually decent votes in the past. I also think she's dumb. And so they have an easy, ready-made excuse.
Maybe RFK if Mitch McConnell keeps pushing the polio stuff.
Hey, with Trump's inauguration coming up, we're already seeing what the next 4 years will look like. His senior campaign official threatened Pennsylvania election workers with jail time for counting mail-in ballots with technical errors like missing dates. The real issue with that? Only one left-leaning outlet has covered this story, leaving Trump's base room to dominate the narrative. This isn't just about Pennsylvania. It's a preview of the tactics we're going to see for the next 4 years, so we can't afford not to pay attention. That's why I've been a longtime partner with Ground News. It's an independent app and website that shows us how important stories shaping our lives get covered or ignored across the political spectrum. Plus, it gives context on why they might be missing from our feeds in the first place. For those of you feeling politically burnt out, Ground News makes it easy to stay informed without feeling overwhelmed. Their daily briefings give you a quick, factual breakdowns of the day's biggest stories from every angle. They are also knocking down the price of their top-tier Vantage plan to under $5 a month for our listeners. Just go to ground.news/majority or scan my QR code to subscribe. It's their biggest discount of the year. And maybe even gift one to someone you know. By supporting Ground News, you're not just supporting my channel, you're ensuring independent voices don't disappear. Because what's happening in Pennsylvania is a warning. If we don't push back now, the next election is going to be even harder. Hey folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.